GamerNode.com. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing a gameplay run-through, a quick gameplay run-through, because this game can take anywhere from a minute to maybe 15-20 minutes. It's called Dungeon Quest. It's a dungeon crawl where players are flipping over tiles, which are rooms in the dungeon, trying to get to the central chamber and get as much loot as possible from the sleeping dragon. Or not getting to the central chamber. Maybe you just pick up loot along the way and get out of there. But most likely, you don't get out. Most likely, you die. And it's hilarious. I've cracked up playing this game. And with 4 players, I can only imagine how much fun this could be as just an experience where you don't really care who wins or loses, but you remember those moments when someone died spectacularly. The emergent narrative here is fantastic, and even though this game's out of print, it has 3 versions and they're all out of print. But even though it is out of print, this might be one that if you can get your hands on it, could bring you and your gaming group a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. Let's check it out. Okay, so to start, we're gonna choose our character. We've got Lindell here, who is this person, and they're gonna start right here in this tower on the corner. And we've got to take 1 rune, and our rune is the Rune of Transformation, which allows us to discard a dungeon chamber, to discard this card when we draw a dungeon chamber, and then draw a second one and take the one that we want, which is helpful considering how many times I've gotten stuck in a rotating chamber and locked up against a wall or a dead-end room. That's a good one to have. Here we have our dragon deck set up for if we ever make it to the center treasure chamber. And I guess we'll just start. So the first thing you do... So Dungeon Quest has a rulebook. Barely. I'm not one to generally complain about rulebooks, but I found that it was really unclear a lot of the time. So I think I'm playing right. I'm not sure. And that's something I basically don't say when playing board games. This is Dungeon Quest Third Edition. I think some things have been improved in the revised edition, and one of which is the dungeon tiles. So the first thing I'm going to do is move onto this space. So we draw a dungeon tile. And the improvement is that there are more icons and it's more clear what you do on each tile. So in this case, this is a web tile, a spider web. You may either retreat or attempt to cross the web. If you retreat, you go back, and if you attempt to cross, you test strength. So we're going to test strength. My strength is 6. We've got to roll under it, and we did. Look at that. If we succeed, we must immediately move again. So we could draw another tile, and, well, that's not going to help us at all. The Chamber of Darkness, immediately move again. Well, I see this is another thing that I'm not sure. Do we go in knowing that there's literally no way out, or do we just go a different way? If it says you must immediately move again, roll 1 die and consult the results to see which passage you exit from. So if I did that, I would come back out my same exit. Let's go with that. And now here I am back in the web chamber, so I think I have to test my strength again to get through, which I fail, but Lindell has an ability, after rolling dice for an attribute test, you may re-roll 1 die and accept the second result. So I got a 7, so I failed, which means I get 1 of these determination tokens, or whatever they're called, which will help me on future tests. Once we're trapped, we must try to cross the web again on our next turn. So that was really 1 turn. So this is the second turn. We're good there. Now we're trying again, testing our strength, failing, but again I get to re-roll, and I've passed. Okay, so now we're continuing with our turn as normal, and that's going to be a move into this space. So we're drawing a tile. Oh man, This freaking game. Okay, so here we are in a web room. I've got to test strength, and I succeed. Okay. So now, moving again. We're going to move into here. And it's a dead-end room, but this has a light gray-white colored arrow, which I think means draw a dungeon card. In the revised edition, there's an entirely separate symbol. We've got a search symbol here, but in the revised edition, there's another symbol that goes on the right-hand bottom corner that says, this is a tile on which you draw a dungeon card. So that's helpful, but in this case, you just have to know. Here we have a crypt event. You may search the crypt for treasure. If you choose to do so, draw one crypt card. Why not? We draw one crypt card, and we've got 90 gold coins. Amazing. So what are we doing? 1, 2, this was all 1, 2, 3. So that was 3. Okay, next turn. We're moving our little sundial. I don't know if you could see that at the top of the screen. I think it's out of screen, but basically we have to get in, get as much loot as we can, and then get out one of the 4 towers before we reach the end of the sun track. Alright, so now I've got to go back into this spiderweb tile, which means testing strength. Failing, but I get the reroll of 1, and I still... Oh no, if I use this token, I succeed. Great. So we move immediately. We're going to go up. Okay. We've got a regular dungeon tile, again, because of that. So we draw this. Passage down. Okay, so we place a catacomb entrance here. The catacomb entrance goes on our tile with us. And, you know, for the sake of this, let's do it. What we're able to do is on our next turn, we can enter the catacombs if we wish. And I think we've gone one more turn. Okay. And so we're going to go down. Well, you know what? Actually, first, while we're up here, we've got this search icon. Let's do a search. So one of the things you can do is draw from the search deck. I got 10 gold coins, and you can search a tile twice before it's exhausted and you have to move. But the interesting thing is you can come back and search it again, which we're not going to do. I'm just going to dive right into the catacombs. So I've got my little, I don't even know if this is me. I don't think it matters. You put a little arrow facing which way you're going to be going in the catacombs, and then you proceed to do it. So here we go. I'm doing the catacombs. I draw a catacombs card, and it's empty. That's it. Take another turn. Draw a catacombs card. Discard this card. Mix together the catacomb deck and catacomb discard pile and shuffle them. Oh, wow. Interesting. I'm just going to put it on the bottom because there is no catacomb discard. Alright, flipping this. It's empty again. And another one. Sneak attack. What we have here is a demon suddenly attacks you. Test luck. If you fail, suffer the number of wounds equal to the amount you failed by. Whether you succeed or fail, you must then resolve a combat with the demon. But you must attack. Okay. Alright, so luck is 5. Gonna roll this. We got a 7. I can redo it. We still got a 7. I get this little token. So a demon. I think we've got a demon right here. Boom. This demon has 6 health. So in this game, actually in 3rd edition, there's kind of a complex combat system that I think nobody really seemed to like. In the original, it was just one player would grab 3 cards for the monsters, and you would have your own 3 cards for your hero, and you would just choose one, and it's rock, paper, scissors. In this, we're just going to roll 1 die, because there's an extra rule for optional combat. I'm going to roll this die. A 2 means that I suffer a wound. A 4 means that I and the monster both suffer a wound. A 2 means I suffer a wound. A 2. Oh, goodness. This game. A 4. Hey, at least he took some damage. We want a 6 is what we want. Alright, I'm dying. Here we go. Come on. Ah, jeez. That counts. That's a 5. That means he takes a wound, and I do not. A 6 would mean he takes 2. Oi. Okay. Did I just take a damage? I don't know. But 6, I think that kills him. Great. Okay, so this demon is dead. And we can move on with our lives. We're gonna move on and draw our next Catacomb. Naga. Threat. This passage is blocked by a giant Naga and you must turn around. Determine where you would exit the catacombs, then place your direction of travel marker in that space and rotate it 100 degrees so it faces the opposite direction. Discard the Naga and all of your catacombs cards. Okay. So this goes here. Okay, so now the way this works is if we were to find an exit from the catacombs, we would come up in that location. So we count the number of cards that we used, which is 4, and we go that many spaces. So that's where we are, and we're turning around. And the next turn goes, and we just flip another card. Here we go. A hidden trap. We draw a trap card from the trap deck. Crossfire trap. Arrows from the walls. Okay. Test armor. If you fail, you suffer a number of wounds equal to the amount you failed by. Okay. So we passed. That's amazing. Great. Okay. Moving on. We take another turn. We take another Catacombs card. So this entire game has been in the Catacombs. Vampire. Threat. Test agility or armor, whichever is lower. They're the same for me. If you fail, suffer 1 wound and keep this card. At the start of each of your turns, suffer 1 wound and continue your turn as normal. We only discard this if we exit the dungeon. My goodness. Well, we passed. Great. So we're good. We go to our next round, and we pull a card. Sneak attack. A monster, a sorcerer suddenly attacks you. Test luck. If you fail, suffer a number of wounds. I'm gonna re-roll this, not because it was on there. I think that was still a 5, but because of my skill. That's good. We got our luck. We still have to resolve this combat with the sorcerer. So here we go. Okay, only 3. That's not so bad. Boom, 5. We do 1 damage. I'm gonna trade out some damage here. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Boom! He's dead. Alright, so we killed this sorcerer. And we take another turn. Deep Elf. Threat. You may discard any of your loot as bribe and then roll 1 die and multiply it by 100. If the result is less than the total gold value of your discarded loot, you may exit the catacombs. If not, the Deep Elf attacks you and you use a sorcerer card. Okay. So, alright, I'm going to give up these 90 gold coins because I've been in the catacombs too long. This is from the crypt deck, and that means I automatically pass. So, great. I get to exit the catacombs. And where do I exit? 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be back in my original space. However, whenever you exit the catacombs, you choose whether you veered off to the right or veered off to the left. I'm going to say I veered off to the right, which is away from us. And you roll a die, and it means I veered off 1 space. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 space to the right, and I pull a new tile, and this is where I am. So after all that, I moved 1 space, and we'll discard all these catacombs cards. Amazing. Okay, and I guess we immediately encounter this, and we got a 3, so we're going out to the side. Alright, so we're going to move this one, and we're going to go in here. Oi. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this Rune of Transformation because this is getting really frustrating. I'm going to draw another tile, and I get to choose one of these. So I'm going to choose this one instead and discard this one. And now here we are. We're drawing a dungeon card, and we're fighting a skeleton or trying to escape. Okay, so got a skeleton. He's got 3 health. We're going to kill him with a 3 hurts us and him, and a 4 hurts us and him, and a 5 only hurts him, and he's dead. Great, we killed the skeleton. It would be nice if we got some loot from the skeleton. But in any case, that's that turn. Jeez, man. I don't think we're making it to the treasure chamber at all. I think we could try, but once we get to the end of this sun track, the whole dungeon can just lock down and then we're dead, because that's the end of the day, and then our dragon friend, Mr. Dragon, comes out, roams the halls, and eats everyone inside. So I'm just gonna try to come back, maybe. Let's get some loot while we're here. So I'm in a search tile. So for this turn, I'll search. Empty. Okay. And we can search twice. So again, empty. Okay. Moving along, we're gonna move to here. And we've got a regular dungeon tile with a door on it. We will pull this dungeon card. Empty! Amazing. Okay, so now we want to move. We can either go in here and then through the webs, or we can try to go through this door. I actually have never drawn a door deck in this game. A door card from the door deck. So it's a trap. Roll 1 die and subtract your luck. And that's how many wounds. So I rolled a 3, subtracting my luck. I got -2. So I don't heal anything, but I don't get hurt. And we move down. We're getting really close up there. I'm going to try the door again. Door opens. Woo! Okay, which means we get this. And we end up going through the web anyway. So we go in. We're going to look at the dungeon deck. It's a crypt card. We can draw from the crypt. I think the crypt might have some valuable stuff, so we'll go for it. An unstable potion. You may discard the potion at the start of your turn and roll 2 dice. If you roll a 2, you are killed. Just immediately. 3-4, you suffer 6 wounds. 5-6, you suffer 3 wounds. 7 is no effect. 8-10, you heal 3 wounds. And 11 or 12, you heal 6 wounds. Well, I think I'm good. I've got 5 health left. If I use this, I could just straight up die on 3 different rolls. So I'm just gonna hang out. I'll be fine. Time's running out, but I think I'm gonna search. I probably didn't do this. It's hard to remember. I'm gonna search. Secret door. Oh, perfect. You may immediately move into an adjacent space. If the space is unexplored, place a chamber if you encounter monsters. Okay, so interestingly, this is an adjacent space. So we're just going to use this secret door and go to this tower, and we can exit the temple. And we did it. We had a few spaces on the sun track to spare, and we didn't really do anything amazing in here. We got stuck in a web, turned around, stuck in a web, turned around, stuck in a web, down the catacombs, out to here, had to turn around, came right back to where we were, got turned around, went in here, and came out and found a secret door and said, forget this, I'm leaving. This place is crazy. Our real goal was to make it to the treasure chamber where the dragon is, because that's where all the real good stuff is. So there's this deck, the dragon deck. And when you get into the chamber, you don't want that. So you get into this chamber, you play a little push your luck game, and you flip a card, and if he's sleeping, you draw 2 treasure cards. And if he's sleeping, you draw 2 treasure cards. You can do one of these every round. But if you get the first card I drew this time, wherever it is, Dragon Rage, you discard all your treasure, you roll 2 dice, suffer that many wounds, and if you survive, you get out of the treasure chamber, which stinks for you. But the thing about the treasure cards is that they are super valuable. So I got out with 10 gold coins. After all that running around, I got out with 10 gold coins, which stinks. I had the 90, but I had to give it up to that elf. But like this one, 700 coins. Here, 400 coins. Crazy. These treasures are awesome. But getting all the way in here and all the way out is not the easiest task. We got kind of close when we were in the crypt right here, or in the catacombs. Because if we would have found an exit, say, on the next card, what you then do is you roll that die and say, okay, I wanted to exit left because I went off course, so I would have ended up right there and then been very close, and then maybe could have come back in and gotten out or walked my way out. So that's it. Actually, this is the first time I've even made it out, so 10 gold coins isn't bad, because you either get killed. I got killed on the first tile once. I got killed from enemies, or I drank a potion and it killed me. And I got killed for something like this, where you step into, say I came out of this room, I stepped into here. This is a rotating room. It rotates you. And then the next room was a dead end. So I was just locked in. And then you can search for secret doors, but if you fail, you fail. Actually, this happened once. I got into the treasure chamber, came out, went into a rotating room here, and I got a straight corridor right into the wall. So, nothing. You can die in so many ways. This game's ridiculous. Yeah, so that's Dungeon Quest, a really silly, fast-paced dungeon crawl game.